I went on a trip to Washington, a place I really wanted to see. I had a simple idea: spend time in Seattle and go camping in the woods. I'd camped with others before, but this time I was doing it alone, which felt important to me. I bought some equipment from a nearby store and found a trail with places to camp. I left early in the morning and drove for a few hours to reach the camping spot. When I got there, it was a plain area with signs that people had camped there before, and I noticed some old things left behind. I put up my tent close to a tree in a spot that seemed nice and quiet. I didn't want anything special, just some calm time. When the sun was setting, I made a fire and prepared some food to eat. I was relaxing by the fire, thinking about things, when suddenly, a person showed up out of nowhere and sat down next to my fire. I tried to be friendly and asked if they were camping nearby, but they didn't say anything. I looked around, but it was just the two of us there. Then, without saying a word, the person stood up and walked away, which felt strange and unexpected. I was awake for a bit, then I put the fire out and went inside my tent. Later that night, I heard a strange noise. It sounded like a fire crackling. When I unzipped my tent, I saw a glowing orange light. I got scared when I saw 4 men near a fire. One of them was the same person I saw before. I got really scared. But before I could do anything, they searched me and took my phone and wallet. They were strong, and I knew I couldn't fight them. They took me further into the forest. I was really scared and thought something bad would happen. Suddenly, they pushed me down, hit my head, and ran away. I felt really dizzy, confused, and couldn't see well. When I stood up, it was really dark. My phone had no signal, so I couldn't call for help. I walked, but it was so dark I couldn't see. I tripped over roots and logs, trying to go in the right way. I was lost for a long time. It was really dark, and I couldn't see anything. Every time I took a step, I didn't know if I was going the right way. I started to feel really scared. I wished so much to find a way out. I could hear animals and leaves moving, which made me even more afraid. I tried to remember what I'd read about staying safe, but I was so scared that I couldn't think clearly. While I was walking in the woods, I saw a strange light far away. My heart started beating really fast. I didn't know if it was the same people from before or something else. I didn't know what to do. I called out for help, but nobody answered. I kept thinking about what could happen, and fear got stronger. As I walked closer, I saw a bright light ahead. It looked like someone holding a flashlight. But when I called out for help, the person turned the light on me. There wasn't just one person, but 3 more behind them. I felt really scared and just ran away without knowing where I was going. They didn't follow me, but it made me even more scared. But seeing them helped me figure out where I was. I tried to move in the opposite direction, hoping it was the way out. The night felt really long, but eventually, it started getting light as the sun came up. I was tired, scared, and had a bad headache. Finally, I found the highway. I signaled for a car to stop and they helped me. When I got back to the city, I called the police and told them everything. I was relieved to be safe, but the whole thing really scared me a lot. Before I continue to the next story, if you are interested in earning from YouTube without showing your face or without making videos by yourself using artificial intelligence, like the video that you are watching right now, then I have a special free training for you. Check the first link in the description below to get instant access. A while ago, my ex-girlfriend Emily and I went camping. We planned to relax and have fun. We chose Yosemite National Park in California for our trip in the summer of 2022. Both of us really enjoyed doing exciting things, so it didn't take much to persuade us. After looking around for a bit, we found a quiet place near the mountains. It wasn't too distant from where we left our car, but we had to walk a little to get there. We arrived at our camping spot in the late afternoon and quickly set up our tents. Afterwards, we spent time relaxing inside the tent and talking while sitting around the campfire. However, something frightening happened unexpectedly. We heard a woman scream in a way that made it seem like she was in serious danger. Then, there was a loud noise like a chainsaw starting up. Emily got really scared, and I felt pretty nervous too. I tried to reassure her by saying it might have been an animal or some other explanation. But even after that, we both still felt scared and uneasy. Emily really wanted to go home, and even though I was a bit annoyed, I cared about her being safe. We packed our stuff fast. When I was putting out the fire, Emily screamed. I looked and saw a big guy in a red shirt and hat, with his hands up like he was saying sorry. Emily got even more scared, but I tried to talk to him to see if he needed help. He just said sorry and quickly ran off. We didn't want to be near that person, so we took a different path through thick woods. It became dark quickly, and we saw we had no phone service. We started to feel really scared as we tried to get back to my car. It seemed like we were walking in circles. Every noise made us nervous because we thought it could be that strange person. We found a small path that divided into two directions, left and right. We picked the right side, thinking it would take us to my car. But instead, it seemed like we were going deeper into the forest. Suddenly, we heard a loud noise and footsteps coming towards us. We got really scared and stopped moving. Luckily, it was a bunch of people who were hiking. They had a map and helped us figure out where we were. They showed us the way back to a bigger path, which eventually led us to my car. We felt so relieved. But just as we were getting close to the car, there was another loud sound from the nearby woods. We didn't stick around to see what it was. We quickly ran to the car, got in, and drove away fast. Emily was very upset, crying and shaking all the way. We kept driving until we found a place with phone service. I called the police and told them everything. They said they'd check the area, but I never heard back from them. No news, no updates. It seemed like they ignored what happened, but Emily and I knew it was real. That night was scary for us. We didn't talk much about it later, but it really affected both of us. That thing that happened really affected us. Emily and I weren't as close afterward. We started growing apart and eventually broke up. It's surprising how one night can change everything. I still think about it, wondering what truly happened in those woods. I've worked at this small warehouse for about 4 years now. It's not very big and doesn't look like a typical warehouse from the outside. My friend Max and I take turns working the night shifts, but usually, it's just one person working alone. My main job involves a lot of paperwork, like counting inventory and making sure shipments are correct. One night, while I was in the back doing paperwork, I heard knocking sounds coming from the front of the warehouse. I went to see what was going on and saw a man outside, pressing his face against the glass, trying to peek inside. He started banging on the door and yelling for me to let him in. I had to explain that the warehouse isn't open to the public, and after that, he just walked away. One night, something strange happened again. The same person showed up and started yelling at the door. I had already warned him before and even threatened to call the police. After that, he ran away really quickly. Then, for a while, he didn't come back. I asked the people who worked during the day if they had seen him, but none of them had. But one night, while I was driving the forklift, I heard a loud noise from outside. I went to check, but I didn't find anything wrong. However, it made me suspicious. I started thinking that maybe it was that same guy trying to get in through the back door. The door wasn't see-through, so I couldn't see outside. It was locked, but something felt strange about it. One day, I got curious and looked at the security camera footage at work, even though my boss said not to. I saw my boss sneaking around, listening at the back door. I called the police, but when they checked the tapes, he was gone. They discovered he'd been coming back every night to listen in. It was really scary. The police kept watch, but he never came back. Then something happened that made me wish he had. One night, after finishing work, I went to my car. It was really dark outside, and it was quiet in the city. When I turned on my phone's light, I saw something strange. There was no signal. My phone couldn't connect to anything. I thought it was just a problem with my phone and didn't worry too much. But when I tried to start my car, it wouldn't work. I tried again, but nothing happened. At that point, I got a little scared. I was alone, my phone didn't work, and my car wouldn't start. My heart was racing. I decided to walk home since it wasn't too far, about a mile. I kept my flashlight on and tried not to think about any scary people I might come across. I was walking down the street when the lights started blinking and then turned off. Now, it was really dark and I only had my flashlight. I started walking faster and accidentally went the wrong way. I didn't know where I was. I felt really scared. I tried going back, but nothing looked familiar. Then, I found an old, empty building. It looked spooky with its windows covered up. It made me feel really scared. And then, I heard footsteps, but they weren't mine. I got really scared and hid behind a big trash can, turning off my flashlight. I tried to stay quiet. The footsteps got closer and louder. I hoped it was just someone passing by. I saw a person and then I realized that it was the same person I saw at the warehouse earlier. I wondered why he was here. I got scared and hid, hoping he wouldn't see me. He suddenly stopped near where I was hiding. I was so scared that I could feel my heart beating loudly. He stayed there for a little while and then walked away into the dark. I stayed still for a long time, afraid to move. Eventually, I came out of my hiding place slowly. I decided to go in the other direction, determined to find my way back. After what felt like a really long time, I finally see the streets I know. I feel so relieved. I get home, feeling a bit scared but glad I'm safe. The next day, I tell the police everything. They look around but don't find anything strange. The weird guy, the spooky night, it's all a big mystery. But now, when I close up the warehouse at night, I feel like someone might be watching me. So, I stay super alert, watching carefully in case the guy shows up again, hiding in the dark.